Hey guys, oh my god, hey. Okay, so the rumors are true. I drove to Albuquerque, New Mexico with my mom. Sorry, it's making me laugh thinking that that's a rumor. Did you hear? Did you hear though? Did you hear that she drove to Albuquerque with her mom? By the time this comes out, it'll probably have been about a month ago that I went to Albuquerque because I was going to learn how to farm, kind of. So this might seem like a weird segue sentence into this story, but hear me out. My mom has an interesting dating history from before I was born. And I'm gonna have to check with her about how much I can say. She had one relationship with a woman. That is relevant. I will bring that up again. This one's just a kind of a fun fact. She also had a sort of friends with benefits relationship with a gay man. I'm just going to leave that like that, and maybe we'll talk about that some other time. But the woman that she dated in her 20s, she lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And a couple years ago, my mom and her reconnected on Facebook, not romantically, just as friends, and she has like a hobby farm. So she doesn't actually like grow anything. It's not like a crop farm. It's only about an acre. It's her lovely, beautiful, giant house. And then a big, big yard where a bunch of animals live. And she did go on a lesbian cruise to Alaska and asked if me and my mom wanted to drive out and take care of her farm while she was gone. I really wasn't sure how I was going to structure this episode. At one point I did take a microphone and I went outside and I wandered around and talked for like 30 minutes. And it was completely unusable. I said, well, you know what? I said some really profound things. This tree is absolutely gigantic. And I really learned some things about myself. If I was a pig, this would be the life, dude. And then it got a little dark. You know what this is? This is if I die tragically. This 30 minutes of me talking will be a real treasure to someone I love. So I decided I would just sort of tell you guys about it post farming. And I would tell you mostly about the animals because that's the most fun part. So I think I'll take it animal by animal and tell you about them and what they are like. And I have some sound bites from all of the things I did. I kind of just recorded in random bursts. I was not sure. Still, I'm not sure how I'm going to put this together, but hopefully I put something together. So, first up, we have Frankie the pig, and she is first because she is the first animal you absolutely have to feed in the morning, because she stands right outside of the door and she yells until you bring her food out, and then she races you back to her pen. Good morning, Frankie. Are you ready for your food? Okay, let's go, girl. No, Frankie. Frankie. Just trying to get in the house. All right, let's go, girl. I've got your food right here. And this is not like, I mean, I don't know what you guys picture when you think of a pig, She is not dainty. She is not like a tiny little pink curly tail. Like, she is. She's a hog. She's a fucking hog, dude. She is strong. She will knock you over. So, her breakfast, her one big meal of the day, is a bunch of apples, handful of lettuce, chopped up carrots, grain, banana peels, pears, fish oil pills, and that's all in one bucket, one big bucket. And then you fill it up with water also. And then you just sort of swirl it all around. And you get to her pen, and it's covered in hay, and she has a food bowl and then an even larger sort of tray food bowl under it to catch all the splash. And you pour it in, and you have to pour it in very quickly, and you have to back off because she's in there, dude. She's in there. Okay, step back down. Good girl. All right, enjoy. Enjoy your slop. She will. And it's all coming out around her. And at one point, I did check on her after I'd fed all of the other animals. I came back and looked at her, and she was standing within that big bowl. Like, it's like big, but she was standing in it, but her back feet were sliding around in the mush of all her food. But she's not. Pigs don't need to have manners. And she was feeling good and crazy and free. And I love that about her. She eats it all up real good, takes a big long nap. And then on the property, there are like a couple apple trees, a peach tree, and then just rows of grapevines on the fence. So then she spends the rest of her day pretty much just kind of rooting around looking for fallen fruit. She maybe eats some hay, some grass. Pigs can kind of eat anything, including pork. I mean, they shouldn't, but some people feed pigs pork, and that is fucked up. Whatever. I mean, if a pig dies, other pigs will eat it. Is that fucked up for me to tell you guys? Did you know that? Well, like hamsters do it, and fish. I do it. Guys, come on! I'm kidding! What the fuck am I talking about? Okay. That's Frankie. She's super friendly. She has, like, really dry skin and, like, wiry hair. Pigs don't sweat. So their hair and their skin is kind of dry, and so she just loved a good scratch. And that might gross some people out, but it was really great for me. I was just in there scratching it all up, giving her a good old scratch down. And she loved it, and she would flop over on her side, make little grunty noises, and I think she lived a very good life. She lives a very good life. She didn't die. Anyway. The second pig, Miss Penny is, she's a little different than Frankie. I don't know what's wrong with her. She's not super into socializing and, hanging out or being touched. She lives in the chicken coop, and she just wants to be there all day, lying down all day long. She seems a little depressed, if I'm going to be honest, but, she's still, what I really think is happening is I think she's getting up at night, because it's hot during the day, and I think she gets up at night and she does her own thing. I don't know, she's an introvert, But she also has some teeth problems, so her food is everything I just said with Frankie. except you blend it. And then, because she is still kind of picky, you also blend up some protein powder and some peanut butter and more berries to sort of entice her and give her an extra little boost of food. And you pour it all into this big pan, and that's her smoothie. And here's the thing about Penny. She screams at the sound of my voice. So I'll say, "Good morning, Penny," and then it'll just be, "Rah!" I'll play that for you now. Good morning, Penny. Like, there's a thing called pig blindness. I think she might be blind. I think her face is really scrunched up, and it like makes it hard for her to see. So I think that scares her sometimes too, when she can't see what's coming or what's going on. So I try not to disturb her too much. You're such a good girl. All right. I think that's okay. But we gotta get her up on her feet at least twice a day so that she goes and pees and gets a little bit of walking around time. I'm sure she's getting up on her own at other times, but I need to see her on her feet twice a day. Those were my instructions. And there was one time where she didn't get up in the morning, and I let it go for a couple of hours because she seemed upset. But then I went back and I tried to kind of urge her up, and she wouldn't do it, so I had to barrel down and get my hands onto her side and lift her up, and by God, she is a big girl. But she got up on her feet and then, pissed for like 4 minutes straight. So that's Penny. Love her to death. Hope she's okay. Moving on, we have Philip the goat. Philip gets some lettuce. He gets some apple chunks, but he specifically gets the apple chunks with the sticker on them because he really likes the stickers. I fed him carrots once. He did not eat them. Got it. Understood. He gets grain. Banana chunks. Some tomato chunks. You have to cover everything in his little food pail with brown sugar maple instant oatmeal packet. And then he'll eat it. And he's really picky. Goats are really picky in general. If they don't like something, they will not eat it, as opposed to pigs who will eat anything. Again, they will eat their own kind. Sorry to bring it up again. Sorry. Goats are much more picky. Philip the goat, he is my best friend. I loved him dearly. He really, never made any sound. He didn't bleat at all. I wish he did. I think it could have been kind of cute. But he was just a quiet guy. He was just kind of sensitive and quiet. He would stand right next to me and butt his head just very slightly to get me to pet him. When I did pet him, my fingertips would turn black and brown because he was dirty. That grossed me out just a little bit. But hey, I'm a farm girl now. Hi, Philip. Oh, are you taking a nap? Hi, Philip. You look so handsome. You having a good day? It's hot out here for a goat like you. He was just a really good guy. And he wouldn't go anywhere without Romeo. And Romeo is the horse. So Romeo is a giant horse, and you might be like, Tally, there's a lot of different kinds of horses out there. What kind of horse? I don't know. He was really big. I never saw the man's eyes either. He was wearing a fly mask for the whole 2 weeks. I tried to take it off a couple times. He did not like that, so I stopped. He was really big. I never saw his eyeballs. Listen, I respect him. I respect him heavily. We did not bond. I tried to feed him peppermints every day so he would like me. He did not care if I lived or died. He only cared about his alfalfa. It's the truth. But in the mornings, I would prepare him some grain. And I would give him the apple cores. And I would give him the ends of the carrots. And then I would pour that into a bowl, and then I would give him what's called a flake of alfalfa. It's like a sort of just a cube of alfalfa and grass and stuff like that. That just kind of peels off a bigger chunk of it, and I would put that, and he would rip it all up and chew on it, and it did sound kind of good. I got some ASMR for you. But the guy, I don't know. He was sassy. He was a little sassy. And he knew his name, never came when called. We would, every once in a while, we'd put the dogs in the house and let Romeo and Philip wander the yard. Otherwise, he would stay in his stables, but we'd let him roam the yard and eat a bunch of grass and grapes and things like that. And Philip is technically allowed to be out whenever, but he won't go anywhere without Romeo, so. It was so difficult to get Romeo back to the stables. You have to, like, put your arms out in, like, a T pose to, like, let him know. I mean, his eyes are on the sides of his head, so I guess that helps. But the only way I got him in was that he just, like, did not fuck with me being close to him. So I just kind of walked near him, and he would huff and puff and run away. And I would slowly herd him back into the stables and give him his alfalfa. That he would rip the alfalfa from my hands. Like, bro, I am bringing it to your food bowl, so can you relax? There you go. Pretty yummy stuff. Oh, so violent with it, bud. And horses, they poop a lot. They poop quite a bit. Big poops. Anyway, I wish him the best. So then we have the giant tortoise. He lives in a big shed near the horse stable, and it's like covered in like that reflective stuff so that it stays really hot in there. There's like heaters. It's disgustingly warm in there. You know, he's a turtle. His name is Tupac. He scares the absolute shit out of me. I did not fuck with him. I'm so sorry if you're a turtle person out there, a tortoise person. If you're like, when I die, I'm gonna be a sea turtle. Cool. I think it freaks me out when animals live longer than us. That's my truth. He's a giant tortoise. Haha, turtles move so slow. No, not true. That man came for me every time I entered his little home. He came for me hard and fast. He looks like a dinosaur, scary. His shell was huge and sharp, scary. I had to make so much food for him. So this is what Tupac got every morning. Chunks of apple, tomato, carrots, lots of lettuce, a whole head of iceberg lettuce, pears, cactus pod, a cactus leaf that did prick me multiple times, may I add, green peppers, bananas, berries, grapes, and then he had whole bowls of grain. And every day you would go and put that in a big pile in his room, and you would turn off the nighttime heat lamp, turn on the daytime heat lamp. And you would be sitting in this little, like, dome plastic house. It looks like a little, like, Fisher-Price, like, house thingy. And he would sit there and he would stare at you. And he would want you to die. And then he would start running towards you, and you would scream. And the doorknob on his shed was a little tricky, and the first time I went in there, I closed it behind me, and then I was trying to leave, and I didn't know how to get out, and the doorknob was like not working, and I cried a little bit. I was so fucking scared. And here's the thing, I'm not even like weird about certain animals. Like, I think snakes are cool, bugs are awesome. This fucking turtle scared the shit out of me. And you know what, I think another reason why we had such a hard time getting along is that one of my favorite like fun history facts is about the giant tortoise, and that fact is that giant tortoises weren't properly classified by scientists in Europe for over 300 years after, you know, sort of like discovering them. And that is because they tasted so good that they would never make it from their native lands back to Europe on a boat because the sailors would eat them. It took 300 years because those bad bitches tasted so good. They were delectable. They could not resist. And that is so funny. Imagine you put like 6 giant turtles on a ship and you're like, guys, seriously? If you're gonna eat any, eat 1, maybe 2. You have to save some. We gotta get back to Europe with these turtles. And then I'm like, you know, a couple weeks in, you're like, oh, I don't know, turtle would sound kind of good tonight, wouldn't it? And then you're like, okay, well, you know, we can eat 1. Oh, you know, we have 6, well, now we have 5, but what is, you know, they don't need 5 turtles, we need another one. And then you get, you know, sort of in the depths of the ocean, crossing the ocean, and you're just so upset to be on a boat for this long, and you're like, no, it tastes really good. Some giant tortoise tonight. Giant tortoise tonight, fellas? And then they would get there, and they were like, okay, we have 1 left, we can't do it. And then someone says it. Someone brave says it. Guys, they can get turtles on the next trip, you know? I think we should eat this turtle. We'll just tell them they died. Or whatever. That's awesome. I just think that's really funny. And, I think it's interesting that we don't eat turtle. Do people eat turtle? Apparently we should. No. Anyway, that's all to say that I think Tupac, the tortoise, the giant tortoise, could tell that I knew that story and that I was delighted by it, and therefore I was his enemy. And that makes sense. And that, you know, I cannot blame the guy. I wasn't gonna eat him. I swear to God. I know I'm a big fat girl. I'm not gonna eat that tortoise. Just because some sailors a long time ago couldn't fucking keep their hands to themselves doesn't mean I'm gonna eat you, brother. But I thought about it every time I saw him. Anyway. He also at one point, I don't know what happened, he was mad that his mom wasn't there, and it was me, and he just like turned his like little dome house completely over, and he knocked his food all over the ground, and he ripped his heat lamp down and he crushed it. He like really acted out, and I feel really bad. I don't know what happened, but it's like the night before she got back, and she was like, oh yeah, he's crazy or whatever. Oh my god. Oh my god. Tupac, what have you done? What have you done? Oh my god. He knocked down his lights. What is this about? Oh my god. The light came out. What am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. Tupac, you're such an angry turtle. I don't know, he scared me. Speaking of eating animals, next up I'm going to tell you about the chickens. Just 2 chickens, a red one whose name was Red, and a black one who didn't have a name. So, they were both hens. I guess they lay eggs, but I didn't see any. I wasn't told to get them. So maybe it's just kind of infrequent. Maybe they're past the egg laying. Oh my god, the egg laying. Whoa, the egg laying point in their lives. I'm keeping that in, so you guys know I'm real. I gave them mealworms and some other chicken feed. They pecked at, anything that was around. Had to be careful not to let them out because the dogs would kill them. And listen, I try to live by a philosophy. I don't know why this feels right to me, but I try not to eat red meat, pork or beef, because I think that for me, my personal rules is that I don't want to eat an animal that I couldn't kill myself. And I mean that physically and morally, emotionally. I know I physically could kill a pig or even a cow, but I just don't think you put a cow in front of me, a pig in front of me, you give me a knife or a gun. I don't know why that's cracking me up. I'm so sorry. That's so fucked up. I don't know. For some reason, with hunting and killing animals, to me, it's always a knife. You you kill them. I guess people hunt deer with guns, but the idea I don't know why I can't stop imagining holding a pistol to a cow's head. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm not pulling that trigger. I cannot use that knife on that animal. I can't get myself to do it. I do, in theory. I've been eating chicken for years and also turkey, and in theory I'm no, I could do that if I needed to. And I went and I took care of these chickens, and you know what? Confirmed. Listen, love them. They were very sweet, kind of. We didn't hang out, I'll be honest. They made kind of scary noises. But I was just kind of looking at them, and I was like, listen, I would eat berries off of trees. I would try to find some edible plants for so long, but if I'm out in the wilderness and there's a chicken nearby and we're kind of hanging out, we're friends, we're talking, we're buddy, but I don't know, those sailors, eventually I'm going to be well, chicken sounds pretty good. And I would snap its neck. It's fine. It's fine. Well, you're gonna be mad at me because I said I'll kill a chicken? Okay, whatever. But yeah, I looked them in the eye and I was like, yeah, no. I think I could sleep at night after killing one of you. I'm so sorry. And the same goes for turkeys, except I would want a gun for that because I don't want to get that close. Turkeys are chickens, but larger and meaner, in my opinion. But yeah, loved those chickens. Loved hanging out. And if you love chickens out there, that makes so much sense. Some of my favorite animals are birds. Just, they're not chickens. Sorry. And also, have you guys tried chicken? Eating it? It's very good. So, whoops. And then there were some cows. However, they were the neighbor cows. And they would come up to the fence around sunset. They would start their mornings on the way other side of this huge property, sort of grazing, and slowly move with the shade. And then they would get to our fence by the end of the day. And they were really big, and they had really big horns. Turns out they were longhorn cows. And they were a little bit scary, honestly. Because it's kind of here's a big animal, and we also attached 2 knives to its head. And if it decides it wants to hit you with those knives, it can. So I stayed away a little bit, but I would feed them peaches and leaves and grass and grapes and stuff through the fence. One of them had this heart pattern on its head, it's a white fur heart on its head, and that was very sweet. You have the most beautiful little eyelashes there. Hi. Hello. Oh, Oh, she just... Oh, that was her tongue hitting the mic. Oh, darlings. Whoa. They seem pretty cool. They all walked in a herd, and I think that's lovely. And there were little baby ones skipping around, and that's very sweet. They're very nice cows. And then there were a couple barn cats. I'd give them some dry and wet food. They didn't come in the house. One, whose name was Ruby, she had extra toes on her paws. That was freaky. They mostly just hung out in the horse stable, which is cool. And slept on the hay, which is so barn cat of them. And then there were 3 dogs, Ginger, Thomas, and Honey. They had a permanent dog door in the back of the house that they could go in and out of at any time. So they were indoor-outdoor dogs. And they were so sweet. Really big dogs, really lovely. Each with their own little personality. So cute. One of the nights they did kill a skunk. Why did you do that? Why'd you kill the skunk? Let the listeners know. Okay. So that was a little difficult to deal with, but overall they were very sweet. So that was kind of that. Made some new friends for sure. Made some new enemies as well. Okay, well, leave in the comments below what's your favorite animal. What do you guys think is the tastiest animal? Or what's the biggest animal you think you could beat in a fight? And I'm going to tell you guys right now, you're all wrong. They will kill you. Animals will kill you. I think that's why I'm good with animals, is because I always know in the back of my head, this animal can and will kill me if I give it the chance. People be like, treating animals like little humans and babies, and you can't do that. They'll eat your face. Anyway, this has been Tally Tries Farming. I hope it was interesting. And I love you, and happy fall. And call me. Okay, bye.